The Pittsburgh Steelers have 4 inside linebackers right now that all look to compete for contributions this season, but one that I believe came into this offseason as the most exciting option might not be a starter now, but is already being viewed as a starter in the future. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackmine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/allsteelerstalkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Today, we are diving into Mark Robinson and the future of the inside linebacker position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Robinson was named by Pro Football Network insider Adam Kaplan as the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers inside linebacker room. Quote, Robinson started one game last season, and a personnel source said his tape was, quote unquote, really intriguing and explosive. He actually played running back for 3 years previously, but his one season of tape as an inside linebacker was so intriguing that the Steelers clearly felt there was something to develop. Another source said that Robinson's overall speed and pursuit to the ball carrier has been a very impressive since he's been with the team. Everything adds up. The Pittsburgh Steelers do view Mark Robinson as a building block. They are very intrigued with how raw he is, but at the same time, how quickly he's developed. Sometimes the Steelers are just looking for football players, and that's who Mark Robinson is. He's a dude who's going to hit you, and he's going to hit you hard. And if he misses a tackle, like we've seen here in training camp, where he's had some down times or some rough drills, and then has come back and just naturally exploded for the rest of practice. And I'm not talking a tackle. I'm not talking a big hit. I'm talking 3 or 4 tackles in a row, constantly being a presence for the defense, constantly being a terror for running backs. And you talk to Terrell Austin, and you get a sense that the Steelers notice that energy and that they notice his development. He told me the other day that Mark Robinson has looked clearly like he's taken a step forward in year 2. When you saw that in the preseason opener, Mark Robinson looked like a guy who possibly was the second best, maybe fighting for the first best inside linebacker on the Steelers roster in Tampa Bay. He finished with 6 tackles. But it's not about now, it's about the future. And at the inside linebacker position, Robinson is viewed as the guy that's going to eventually succeed everybody. Cole Holcomb is here and viewed as a building block, a guy who they hope works out. What they thought Miles Jack could be, what they thought guys like John Bostic could be, that is the next Cole Holcomb. He is the let's sign a free agent and hope that it works out shot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Quan Alexander's here on a 1-year deal who signed late. It's somewhat of a prove-it deal, but if we're being honest, he looks immediately like the best player in the room for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Landon Roberts is here on a 2-year deal, but he only has a $1.1 million dead hit next season. So if they want to get rid of him, they can. I think this is how the Steelers inside linebacker room shakes out this year and next year. You look at Mark Robinson and you say, this is a guy who's clearly taken a step, but he's still limited. He's not a coverage inside linebacker. He's going to be a liability if he's on the field too often, but you want to play him and you want to see how far that development can go in games once the pressure's on. And in the NFL, that's the best way to grow. The best way to grow is to be tossed into the fire and say, hey, look, you have guys around you to support you. You have coaches who are going to teach you and educate you on your mistakes and your successes. But overall, you are out there to figure it out and say, hey, I can do this. We just have to learn how to do this. So I expect Mark Robinson to see plenty of playing time as a sophomore for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That shouldn't change. But I don't expect too much right now. I look at Mark Robinson as a guy who is the next to Landon Roberts. And that's just because Landon Roberts still has enough gas in the tank to be a very talented NFL player and somebody who could do exactly what Mark Robinson can do, but has done it at a consistent level throughout his career. Somebody that the Steelers have had eyes on all the way back to the NFL draft when he came into the NFL. And now that they have an opportunity to work with him, they view him as a starter. They don't view him as a potential backup to Mark Robinson or a guy that Robinson can replace. They view him as a starter next to Cole Holcomb. And what they're looking for in Quan Alexander is to be a coverage guy because they aren't certain Cole Holcomb is going to be that guy or that answer. Robinson is a thumper. He's a guy that isn't meant to play 3 downs of football, and that's okay. In the NFL, there are a lot of guys who aren't meant to play 3 downs of football in a series. But he's a guy who could be out there and develop and learn from Landon Roberts. And I think that is huge. To have Roberts on this roster is such a significant move for Robinson's development. And that's where the future comes in. Is Kaplan believes that Robinson is a starter in 2024. And if we're being honest, I think that he's pretty close. I'm not positive that he is guaranteed a starting job over anybody, but I think that if I had to guess, if I had to take a very, very early guess at the Steelers' inside linebacker room in 2024, it looks something like this. Cole Holcomb is still around and hopefully develops into the answer that the Pittsburgh Steelers are hoping for. But I think Quan Alexander has an opportunity to do the same thing. If he impresses, you have to look at him as another option to say, well, maybe this guy has a better place and a more serious shot to cover what we need in the position. Larry Ogunjobi came here as a prove-it type of player, and he is now a staple to the Steelers' defensive line. Quan Alexander is coming in as a prove-it type of player, and so far looks like the best option that they have to finally find a stud on the inside. If he continues to play like that and has a season like training camp and a season like he looked in the first preseason game, it's going to be very hard for the Steelers to say, well, let's just move on and we'll live out our days with Cole Holcomb, and that's okay. I don't see a Landon Roberts sticking around for 2 seasons. I just see him as a one and done type deal, and next year you could save $2 or $3 million and already have options, because Mark Robinson, I keep wanting to call him Alexander, but Mark Robinson is going to be cheap and only entering his 3rd year in the NFL. Quan Alexander, even if you sign him, isn't going to be worth much because he's pushing the age of 30 and he's coming off a couple of injuries. Even with an impressive year, you're not looking at this guy as, oh man, we're going to lose him in the market. I think you're looking at him more as, can we work with him to make sure that we could sign him to a fair deal where he has an opportunity to revive his career and make a little bit of money, and we have an opportunity to fill a big need for us with somebody who has been impressive. Quan Alexander could be sticking around. Holcomb is likely to stick around. And then Mark Robinson is a guy that, even if he's not a starter, he comes off the bench and he plays regularly. That's where I think Mark Robinson comes into play. I don't know which one of the two could possibly fall beneath him if the opportunity presents itself that his development showcases a significant jump. But I think those 3, Quan Alexander, Cole Holcomb, and Mark Robinson, they're the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers inside linebacker room. They're the 3 that they're going to rely on. They're the 3 that are going to play every game, every snap, as much as possible. They're the 3 that will develop into a trio. And Cole Holcomb is still young enough, and Mark Robinson is certainly young enough to have a couple of years to do so. And Quan Alexander, he might be pushing 30 next year, but that doesn't mean his career is anywhere close to over. You could build this trio into something grand in the upcoming seasons, and I think that it starts with securing that your veteran signings work, but it ends with Mark Robinson being a piece that they believed in, who has come through for them. And yes, just like Kaplan says, and just like the sources to him say, and just like Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin and anybody else you talk to here at St. Vincent about Mark Robinson, the development is there, the rawness is there, but the talent is there. And there's no denying he puts the work in. If it continues and he sees himself thriving, I don't know how you take this guy off the field, and I don't know how you don't let him get an opportunity to be that guy that everybody, including the fan base, is excited to see him be.